In the dim glow of ancient torches, a crowd roars as steel clashes on bloodied sand. Men bound by fate fight not for glory, but survival. What twisted path led Rome to crave such savage spectacles? Echoes of cheers drown the cries of the fallen. In Rome's arenas, death was not tragedy, but thrill. How did a civilization turn murder into mass amusement, drawing emperors and slaves alike into its bloody embrace? Welcome to Grimoryx, where shadows of the past whisper forgotten horrors. Today we descend into ancient Rome's darkest obsession, when killing evolved from ritual to riveting entertainment, captivating an empire in blood and spectacle. The roots of Rome's bloody games trace back to ancient Etruscan and Campanian funeral rites. In these shadowed ceremonies, paired combatants fought to honour the dead. Their clash is a ritual sacrifice to appease ancestral spirits lingering in the afterlife's veil. By 310 BC, Campanians held games to celebrate victories over Samnites, naming gladiator types after conquered foes. These early combats, painted in history's dim palette, blended triumph with death, setting the stage for Rome's adoption of this macabre tradition. The First Punic War in 264 BC marked Rome's inaugural gladiatorial event. Decimus Junius Brutus Sceva organised 3 pairs of fighters in the Forum Boarium to honour his father. Their deadly duels, a sombre offering to the manes of the departed. These munera, or funeral gifts, were vowed by private individuals to mark a male relative's death. Fighters battled at tombsides, their blood expiating military losses like those at Cannae in 216 BC, where games boosted morale amid defeat's heavy shadow. Scipio Africanus hosted a munus in Iberia around 206 BC, using volunteers instead of slaves. This shift hinted at glory's allure, as even free men stepped into the arena, their breaths heavy with the weight of impending ritualistic violence. By 183 BC, Publius Licinius Crassus Dives staged 3 days of games with 120 gladiators, including public feasts. These events grew from intimate rites to spectacles, weaving death into Rome's social fabric with an unquenchable thirst for drama. In 105, Boissa state-sponsored barbarian combat training integrated into religious festivals, or ludioi. Gladiators now entertain during sacred days, their fights a bridge between piety and bloodshed, captivating crowds with choreographed displays of Roman martial prowess. Small munera became commonplace by 174 BC, with Titus Flamininus hosting 4 days featuring 74 gladiators. These expansions reflected Rome's growing empire, where conquests fueled the arenas with captives, turning foreign defeats into domestic, thrilling diversions. During the late Republic, games turned political. Sulla's lavish munus for his wife showcased wealth, while ambitious leaders used arenas to sway voters. Their spectacles a calculated blend of generosity and gore to secure power's precarious throne. Julius Caesar elevated the games in 65 BC, staging 320 pairs despite his debts. These massive displays, held in temporary wooden arenas, dazzled Rome, transforming munera into tools of ambition, where blood bought loyalty in the empire's rising shadows. Caesar's Civil War-era games in 46 BCE featured captives as gladiators, their fate sealed in political theatre. This innovation blurred lines between war and entertainment as Rome's leaders scripted death to celebrate victories and quell unrest's brewing storm. Under Augustus in 27 BC, games were regulated as civic duties, limiting extravagance to maintain order. Emperors now oversaw these spectacles, using them to reinforce the imperial cult, where gladiators' valour mirrored Rome's unyielding strength and divine favour. Caligula, from 37 to 41 AD, forced senators into the arena for his amusement, heightening the game's cruelty. These imperial whims turned noble blood into spectacle, as Rome's elite trembled under the emperor's gaze, blending power with perverse entertainment. Nero's reign from 54 to 68 AD introduced exotic twists, like Ethiopian gladiators and Christian persecutions in the arena. His spectacles, infused with theatrical flair, amplified horror, as flames and beasts devoured victims in Rome's ever-darkening entertainment landscape. Domitian in 89 AD featured female gladiators as Amazons, adding exotic allure to the games. These rare bouts, fought under moonlight, challenged norms, their fierce clashes a testament to Rome's insatiable appetite for novel, blood-soaked diversions. The Colosseum's inauguration in 80 AD under Titus featured 9 days of games, flooding the arena for naval battles. This architectural marvel, holding 80,000 spectators, symbolised the empire's peak, where engineering met brutality in grand, immersive displays. Trajan's Davian celebrations from 108 to 109 AD spanned 123 days, with 10,000 gladiators and 11,000 animals slain. These epic events, funded by conquest spoils, showcased Rome's dominance, turning war's horrors into triumphant, crowd-pleasing carnage. Commodus, ruling until 192 AD, performed as a gladiator himself, slaying animals in bloodless displays. His fanaticism blurred emperor and entertainer, drawing scorn yet fascination, as Rome's leader descended into the arena's painted abyss of vanity and violence. Marcus Aurelius, in 177 AD, capped expenses to curb excess, yet games persisted as moral exemplars. Gladiators embodied virtues, manliness and stoicism, their dignified deaths inspiring the masses, even as philosophers like Seneca pondered the spectacle's redemptive degradation. Septimius Severus banned female gladiators in 200 AD, deeming them unseemly. Despite regulations, the game's scale swelled, with emperors subsidizing costs amid the 3rd century crisis, preserving the tradition as a pillar of social control and public pacification. Gladiators, often slaves or criminals, trained in ludi schools under Lanistae. Former fighters turned managers. These compounds, like the vast Ludus Magnus, housed up to 2,000, forging warriors through rigorous drills in Rome's unforgiving underbelly. Novices swore a sacred oath to endure branding, chains, or death by steel. This sacrament bound them to the arena's fate, their bodies marked with tattoos of infamia, symbolizing a life forfeited in service to Rome's spectacle of suffering. Training emphasized endurance, with drills around parlor stakes and choreographed numbers using blunted weapons. Segregated by type, gladiators honed skills in stoical combat, their sessions a blend of discipline and dread, under the Lanista's watchful eye. Diets were vegetarian-heavy, barley and beans for bulk, supplemented by medical care to mend wounds. Despite high mortality, survivors could earn freedom, fame, or wealth, rising from infames to idols in Rome's paradoxical arena culture. Volunteers, or octorati, sought glory or escape debt, needing magisterial approval. Condemned damnati faced branding and tattooed stigma, their lives a grim prelude to the arena's judgment, where breath and blade decided fleeting redemption or eternal oblivion. Gladiator types evolved from historical foes to theatrical roles. The Samnite, heavily armoured with shield and sword, became the Secutor after conquests, their style a symbol of Rome's absorbed enemies in the arena's choreographed dance of death. The Thraex, with small shield and curved Seeker sword, faced the Murmillo, a fish-helmeted warrior. These matchups, rooted in Thracian conquests, created dramatic contrasts, their fights a painted tapestry of agility versus brute force in the Colosseum's roar. Retiarius, the netman, lightly armed with trident and net, battled the heavily protected Secutor. This classic pursuit dynamic thrilled crowds, as the Retiarius's cunning weaves clashed with the Secutor's relentless chase. in fog-shrouded bloodied sands. Hoplomachus, Greek-inspired with spear and shield, added variety, while provocators initiated bouts with oblong shields. These types, segregated in training, ensured balanced spectacles, their combats a symphony of strategy and savagery under Rome's unblinking sun. Lesser types like Essidarii fought from chariots, cestus boxers with lethal gloves, and bustuarii near graves. Even rudiari, retired victors, returned with wooden weapons, their presence a haunting reminder of the arena's endless cycle of glory and gore. Fights often included venations, animal hunts, where gladiators battled beasts like lions and elephants. These brutal insertions, with thousands slain, heightened drama, their roars echoing through the arena as blood mingled with the crowd's fevered cheers. Naumachii simulated naval battles in flooded arenas or basins, with sailors fighting to the death. These watery spectacles, first under Caesar, drowned hundreds, their waves stained red in a macabre mimicry of Rome's maritime conquests. Not all fights ended in death. Skilled gladiators could be spared by the editor's thumb or crowd's mercy. This element of judgment added tension as the fallen's fate hung on whim, breathing life into Rome's theatre of calculated cruelty. Famous gladiators like Priscus and Verus, who fought to a draw under Titus, became legends. Their epic duel, ending in mutual freedom, captivated poets and crowds, immortalizing the arena's rare moments of honour amid pervasive brutality. Women and dwarves occasionally fought for novelty, banned sporadically. These outliers, like Nero's Retiarius Tunicatus, added scandal, their presence a dark twist in the game's evolution, challenging societal bounds while feeding Rome's hunger for the extraordinary. By the 3rd century, economic crises reduced funding, yet emperors kept games alive through subsidies. Christian critics like Tertullian condemned them as pagan idolatry, their writings a growing chorus against the arena's blood rituals and moral decay. Constantine, in 315 AD, banned forcing criminals into gladiatorial roles, allowing games but curbing excesses. This partial reform, amid Christianity's rise, signalled change as the empire grappled with faith's light, piercing the arena's long-held shadows of violence. Valentinian I, in 384 AD, restricted lavish spending, while Theodosius I banned pagan festivals in 393 AD. These edicts eroded the game's foundation as Christianity's influence reshaped Rome, turning once celebrated spectacles into relics of a barbaric past. Honorius ended gladiatorial combats in the West by 404 AD, inspired by martyr Saint Telemachus's death in the arena. This final ban, amid riots and reluctance, silenced the cheers, leaving the Colosseum to echo with ghosts of forgotten fury. Venationes lingered until 536 AD in the East, but interest waned as chariot races rose. The game's decline mirrored Rome's fall, their legacy a sombre reflection on humanity's flirtation with violence as entertainment in history's fading canvas. The games reinforced social hierarchies, with segregated seating under Augustus maintaining order. Emperors used them for bread and circuses, pacifying the plebs, as Juvenal noted, distracting from woes with the allure of orchestrated death. Critics like Cicero viewed gladiators ambivalently, degrading yet exemplary. Their stoic ends taught virtues, but the spectacle's cruelty sparked scandals, riots, and philosophical debates, revealing Rome's soul torn between admiration and abhorrence for its bloody pastime. Graffiti from Pompeii shows fan fervour, with supporters idolising gladiators like celebrities. This adoration, amid scandals of affairs and uprisings, underscored the game's grip on society, blending infamy with fame in Rome's enduring theatre of the macabre. Ultimately, the gladiatorial game spanned over 650 years, from funeral rites to imperial extravagance, before fading. Their end marked a shift in values, leaving a legacy of spectacle that whispers warnings about entertainment born from humanity's darkest impulses. As the echoes of steel and cheers dissolve into silence, Rome's arenas stand as tombs to a vanished era, where death danced for delight, leaving stains on history's canvas that time cannot fully erase. In the quiet aftermath, we reflect on humanity's shadowed fascination, how empires rise on spectacle only to crumble under its weight. The Gladiator's ghosts remind us, entertainment's edge is ever sharp with peril. If these shadows of Rome's bloody legacy gripped your soul, subscribe to Grimoryx for more dark tales. Like, comment your thoughts, and see you in the next shadow of history.